Alright, hey guys, welcome to the video. If you're new here, my name's Curtis. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite fragrance notes in perfumery, and that is the note of rose.
Why do I like rose so much?
At first in my fragrance journey, it was a fragrance note that I avoided because I saw it as being quite a feminine note, so I stayed away from all rose fragrances. You know, even if I found out that it had rose in it, I kind of pushed it away because, you know, I didn't want to come off as being like a feminine man. And I mean, that was just, you know, looking back, it was such a ridiculous way to think. And I missed out on so much. But once I kind of, you know, didn't necessarily look at fragrances and more specifically notes as being like, you know, masculine and feminine, or just, I guess I still kind of do, but more so just kind of became more accepting or open-minded and willing to try fragrances with those specific notes, especially rose. That just kind of changed my whole world and changed my fragrance journey in terms of the fragrances that I was willing to experience. Like I said before, rose is now one of my favorite fragrance notes in perfumery. And another reason why I really love rose is, like, for me, living here in Japan, my atmosphere is considered kind of hard in terms of I guess visual, the way people perceive me visually. I'm bald, I have a beard, heavily tattooed. Tattoos are quite taboo here in Japan, and they don't necessarily have the best reputation here in Japan. So, you know, being bald, bearded, heavily tattooed, I come off as quite hard. And rose fragrances are a good way to soften the overall atmosphere. Like if I was, since I do come off hard, if I was wearing a very masculine fragrance, that could be quite intimidating to some people. But you know, if you wear kind of a softer rose fragrance, then that's a good way to kind of soften your edges, and it almost kind of makes you a bit more approachable, in my opinion. So, you know, that's just another reason of the many reasons why I absolutely love rose. You can really, really set yourself apart with wearing rose fragrances. I mean, they can be quite elegant and almost give you a bit of mysteriousness, and that's why I love them.
Yes, so enough of my rambling about that.
So if you're curious to see the fragrances that I've chosen, then let's go. So first up, from the house of Frederick Malle, we have Portrait of a Lady. Of course, since we're talking about rose, I had to start off with this fragrance. Why? Well, because this is the fragrance that really opened my eyes and changed my opinion about rose. It was a magical experience and moment for me, and I just can't say enough good things about this fragrance. This is rose and patchouli done to absolute perfection. And what I really love about this too is it has like kind of like a mysteriousness and darkness about it, and like there's curiosity there. You know, people are intrigued, they want to know more about this fragrance. It's just a special one for me, and I absolutely love it. Performance is great with this fragrance, and man, this is a fragrance that I think, since it does have that darkness and almost kind of, I don't want to say gothic, but it kind of almost kind of veers off in that direction slightly for me. Not in a negative way at all. Like, I enjoy the direction that this fragrance goes from beginning to end, but this is an evening fragrance for me. I wear this one in the evenings when I'm slightly dressed up, nothing less than a collared shirt, when I'm going out. This one is magic in a bottle. It is a masterpiece. It's a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. And if you haven't, if you don't like rose, or if you haven't even experienced the note of rose yet, you should definitely smell this one anyway, just because it's a masterpiece, in my opinion. It's timeless. This fragrance is timeless, and yeah, I am almost at a loss of words for how good this one is. And yeah, like I said before, this fragrance here is what started my journey into rose fragrances. So yeah, it will always be in my collection. But this is a great one from beginning to end. Performance is amazing. Sillage is gorgeous. Definitely one of the best smells ever. The sillage, the wafts that you get from this one, stunning. But yeah, this is a great one and definitely one to check out for sure. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Portrait of a Lady by Frederic Malle. Next up, from the house of Maison Crivelli, we have Hibiscus Mahajad. Man, so this one is another just absolutely gorgeous rose scent. You definitely get a heavy blast of rose. You have that hibiscus in here, which definitely gives it some depth and character. And you also have some vanilla that really starts to push through in this fragrance. So it's kind of a sweet, rosy fragrance. It's not overly sweet, and it doesn't push in that gourmand direction at all. But that vanilla just gives it a tad of sweetness. There is also quite a bit of freshness here, but it's that combination of being kind of like a fresh and sweet smelling kind of vanillic rose fragrance, and it's so good. And as I mentioned before, that hibiscus note in here just gives it kind of a bit more of character and depth, and I think there's a bit of kind of freshness coming from that specific note. But yeah, this one, performance on here is beastly. If you don't know, this one was perfumed by Quentin Biche. He just produces extremely high performing fragrances, and they're all quite unique, and they smell great. And this is no exception. This is a good one. You only need about 2 sprays with this one because this is a room filler. Projection is extremely strong, and sillage is extremely strong as well. So, you know, if you're wearing this one in the office setting, I would say be very careful with the sprays because you will fill the room for sure. This one does get compliments. People tend to really, really like this one. So yeah, that's just a plus. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Hibiscus Mahajad by Maison Crivelli. Next up, from the house of Atelier des Ors, we have Rose Amouage. So this one is a very, very jammy rose oud combination with a light sugary nuance. You get a blast of raspberry in here, which gives it a very nice fruitiness. And in the dry down, the sandalwood in this fragrance really, really pops on my skin. I really, really like this one. But this, you can definitely pick up on the rose from beginning to end in this one. And I would say that the oud here is a very, very easy oud to wear. And I don't really pick up on it so much. I mean, it is quite rose dominant, but the oud is there, but it's not like a funky or skanky smelling oud at all. I would say it's probably more of like a Western oud. It's very pleasant, and it just helps to give this fragrance a bit more depth and character. But yeah, this one is a gorgeous one, and shout out to Atelier des Ors for the bottle. These gold flakes that you can see, I mean, it just looks cool. The bottle design is really nice. These are quite heavy bottles. Not magnetic caps or anything, but the caps are very heavy. They're extremely heavy, so the quality is definitely there. Now, when you spray this one on your skin, you will get gold flakes on your skin, so just be aware of that. If you're spraying it on clothes too, especially if you're wearing dark colors, you'll see those gold flakes, so just be aware of that. But the smell here is absolutely gorgeous, and it's one to check out from the brand. I know they also have like an extrait version of this, which I've never smelled, but for me, this works a treat. Performance is quite good, and yeah, this is definitely just a stunning rose fragrance. And this, for me, in my opinion, this is definitely more of an evening wear fragrance. I would tend to wear this one dressed up as well. But yeah, it's an easy rose oud fragrance to try if you're just getting into rose and ouds. This is a great one. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Rose Amouage by Atelier des Ors. Next up, from the house of Amouage, we have Lyric Man. Man, so this fragrance is so good. It's basically like a soapy, fresh rose water. So easy to wear. You definitely get a bit of that incense, like that typical Amouage incense vibe, but it's pushed so far into the background to where you don't pick up on it so much. You can tell that it's there, but it's not at the forefront of this fragrance. Again, it's such a soapy, clean, easy to wear rose fragrance that, man, I absolutely love. And this is a compliment getter. You will get compliments from this. It's extremely pleasant, and you can wear this in any season. I would say it's moderate sillage, moderate projection. So I mean, it's not a beast, but for me, it does what I want and need it to do. I'm not always looking for a beast on performance. I would say that in general, Amouage produces quite strong fragrances, borderlining beastly. Not all of them, but a good portion of them are that way. This one is not a beastly fragrance on my skin, but you might have a different experience if you own Lyric Man. But it has, for me, it has the performance that I need it and want it to have. But what I will say in terms of longevity, if you spray this one on clothes, it lasts forever. And I would say if you're just getting into rose fragrances, or if you're looking to experience some fragrances from the house of Amouage, this might be a good place to start. This is a great one, and I'm happy to have it in my collection. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Lyric Man by Amouage. And finally, from the house of Paris Monte Carlo, we have Rose de Taif Extrait. So this is absolutely my favorite rose fragrance. This is just absolutely gorgeous. This is Taif rose done to perfection. Basically, on initial spray with this, you get a heavy blast of Taif rose, and you get a bit of citruses. So, my image of this, and I've mentioned this before on the channel, is just kind of like if I'm laying in a bathtub full of Taif roses and someone cuts open a lemon and squeezes the lemon on top of me. That's basically the vibe that you get here. This is a gorgeous one. My gosh, this is, you could consider this kind of like a jammy or even kind of green smelling rose, but it is absolutely done to perfection, and performance is beastly with this. And every time I've worn this fragrance, I have gotten compliments. And I first got this fragrance, I think it was in the winter time, maybe fall or winter time, and I wore it then, and performance was good. But this fragrance shines. It comes alive in the warmer temperatures. People will notice you. You do not need a whole lot of sprays with this. And yeah, people just really enjoy this one. It's a special one for me. And again, you can tell the quality in this bottle. This stuff is magical. And what was really cool recently, I saw another fragrance reviewer talking about this fragrance, and they were talking about another fragrance from Oman Luxury. I think it's called like Royal Incense or something like that. I don't know if that's the correct name, but basically they were saying that if you put Royal Incense down and then you layer it with Rose de Taif, it just makes for a magical rose kind of incensey concoction, and it kind of resembles Rose Incense by Amouage, that reviewer was saying. So I'm really curious to try that layering combo. So in the future, I'm going to try to get myself a sample of Royal Incense by Oman Luxury and see if I agree with what that reviewer was saying about this. On its own, this is just an all-star of a fragrance and the best rose fragrance in my personal collection. I love it. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Rose de Taif Extrait by Paris Monte Carlo. All right, guys, so that's all I have for you for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's content, and let me know down in the comment section, do you know any of these fragrances that I showed you today? And what are your opinions about rose fragrances? Do you enjoy them, or do you not care for the note of rose too much? let me know down in the comment section. Well, I hope you guys are staying healthy and well, and I'll see you in the next video.